if you keep being passive, you're never going to get your lady. You have to be more aggressive. Go after what you want.
Now, don't be too aggressive. Some people got locked up being a little too aggressive. So put some balance on it.
Hi, I'm Charmaine.
I'm Jomo.
And we come to you to discuss relationship issues.
Real talk.
Real talk.
Real relevant conversation. Been married 24 years.
Yes, 24 years. 24 days ago.
Yeah, a couple days ago. Yeah. And our whole goal is to deal with things that are going on in the world and the relationship world. So today's topic
is why are single men so passive in 2022? Let's talk about it. So I was sitting here thinking about how women are so aggressive now in relationships. Well, not even in relationships, but just like in the dating scene. They're really aggressive. They're having to approach men, and, you know, some men are saying that, you know, the women are approaching them and they're saying no, and we're not getting the clue. And I'm just thinking, why are women even having to approach them? Because when I was single, which of course was a while ago, men approached women, but now it seems like it's flipped and women are being the aggressor and men are being more passive when it comes to approaching women and just the whole dating scene. So we wanted to talk about it. And we talk about three things as to the reason why we think men are more passive when it comes to approaching women. Number one, fear of rejection. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like that shouldn't even be an issue for men, because I feel like it should be a natural thing for men to want to approach women and woo women. And, you know, I just feel like, I don't know, it's probably an old way of thinking, but a lot of women feel like, you know, if I see something I want, I'm gonna go after it. But men feel like, I don't want to get embarrassed. I don't know.
I think
some men. I shouldn't say all men. I don't want to generalize.
I agree. The rejection aspect is real. Now,
right.
I think it's all predicated on who you are as a man. Some people are used to rejection. I know me as a former athlete, I already know this. You got to shoot your shot. What does shoot your shot mean? Well, you know, they say Michael Jordan shot about 900 plus last minute shots. He made about 100 and something plus shots. Well, guess what? You'd never make 100 plus shots if you didn't shoot your shot.
Right.
So sometimes you have to be willing to shoot your shot. I remember there was a couple that we know, and everyone kind of said, man, how did he get hurt? Well, guess what? He shot his shot. Now, a lot of guys sat back and looked and thought about, but they never shot their shot.
Right.
Now, this brother, he may not have all the attributes that they think they had, but he was not afraid to shoot his shot. And guess what? He made it. And so what happens sometimes in life, we will sit back and overanalyze and never approach, never at least give it a shot. And sometimes I think that the stigma of I need a six-figure dude, or I need this, or I need that. And if you're not a six-figure dude, and if you're not this and you're not that, the world has painted a picture that this is what a woman wants or needs. And with that, if you don't match that criteria, it could affect your confidence and your ability to ask.
Right. Well, I want to get back to fear of rejection. I mean, when it comes to fear of rejection, nowadays, it's not just you rejecting someone one-on-one. A lot of times
they put you on blast.
Right. It's more public. So it makes the rejection like times 10 versus it being, and then I think too, some women don't think about how much, you know, it takes for somebody to actually build up their confidence enough to go to you and approach you. Most of the time, you may not be by yourself.
Y'all run a posse.
So, right. So you're rejecting somebody in front of a group of people. How do you do that gracefully? And how do you do that where someone can walk away and still have their dignity intact, right? So I think that's part of it. Men have seen other women shoot men down in a negative way in front of their friends, and like now it's a joke. And it hurts their feelings. Of course, they're not going to say it hurts their feelings because they're trying to save their, they have some pride or whatever. But at the end of the day, it hurts their feelings, and they don't want to be rejected in front of people.
Correct.
So I think that's part of the fear of rejection thing. But number 2.
Some women take offense to a man taking the lead. I understand that for a long time that women would have been pushed back, pushed to a side, couldn't vote.
Now we independent. We could pay our own bills.
Yeah, so and we got so many songs to the left,
right.
I'm
an independent woman with Neo.
Yeah. So we have propagated and pushed that a woman does not need a man.
And I think part of that is our family structure has been kind of dismantled in a lot of ways because society hasn't really supported marriage in the way that it should have. And I may be going a little bit too deep, and the result of that is a lot of single moms telling their kids, you don't need a man. Get your own, do your own, be able to pay your own bills, because that's what she had to do in order to survive.
Yeah, it's sad that I've seen some people who were married who got broke up because, one was like, well, I don't need you. And it's a whole bunch, I don't need you, I don't need you, I don't need you. Now, you have to be careful. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. You keep telling a person you don't need them, well, guess what? They're going to find somebody that needs them.
Right.
And we don't understand the power of our words. Listen, woman of God, I know you're a bad chick. I know you got your education. I know you got your job. You got everything going on. But you have to understand those words have power.
Absolutely.
And you are a boss chick, and that's wonderful, and that's great. But you could have it all if we could work on being accommodating to God's plan.
Right.
I'm not saying the world's plan.
We have roles to play as men and women, and I'm not trying to belittle the woman and saying, hey, we're limited and we can't do certain things, because we already know that we can do we could do all things, right? But the thing is if you're not allowing a man to be a man, then they're not going to want to be that around you. So, a lot of times we'll say, oh, we want him to open the door, but then we're racing to the door time. I can open my own door. I don't need a man. I don't need to wait for a man to open my door. But you like those things, but then you don't like them. So you need to pick and choose. You need to pick what you want. You can't just, when it suits you best, you want a man to be a man, but then when it doesn't suit you, you want to be independent.
Yeah. And that's key. You have to identify the role you want to play.
Right.
Do you want a biblical marriage? See, that's the thing. Some want marriage, but they don't want a biblical marriage, or they don't want the structure or the order of a biblical marriage. Now, all I'm saying is that a man brings something to the table.
Right.
And obviously you have something to bring to the table.
Right.
But if you minimize the value of that, well, you're not going to find that person, because nobody wants to be belittled or feel as if they're not valuable to the situation.
That's good.
Number three. Low self-esteem.
Low self-esteem. We've seen this a lot. Again, going back to the single mom, if you have a strong-willed, strong-minded mama or grandmama, and you grew up with them, and you're a male, and they never allowed you to assert yourself in any way, shape, or form. It was their way or the highway. They never listened to you, talk to you. Now, in your mind, you're thinking that's how all women are, because that was your example of how a woman is.
No, we had a young man I spoke to. He's like, man, I'll never get married. And I understand why he said it, but then I had to sit him down and say, listen, not every woman is like your mother.
Right.
Because see, he's seen his mother do some very damaging things, lied on him. So then now he is seeing what his father went through.
Wow.
He's a teenager.
Right.
Now he's seeing what his father went through, and now it's starting to make sense to him why his father ain't there. Because now what his father's going through, he's going through as a teenager.
Right.
So then he says, Pastor, I'm never getting married. I said, what do you mean by that? He says, why would you want to put up with this? And why would you want? I said, I said, slow down. I said, I understand what you've been through. It's been rough and challenging. Mm-hmm. But what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to make your mother the example for every woman. Now, well, my point to you is not every mother is a good example. Mm-hmm. Not all, we all love our mamas, but not every mama was the example of what a good wife can be.
Right.
So what happens if you have the wrong model or the wrong image of what a wife and a mother may be, you may say, I don't want none of that.
Right.
Which is sad, but these are things that I think people don't think about in reference to raising children and the effect that their actions, words, and deeds will have on their kids in their future relationships.
Right. But the thing is if you know God and you're able to identify these things within yourself and you're as a male, then, God can redeem you. So you can be redeemed from that and not allow that to dictate your future. So if you're able to identify that in yourself, you may have some low confidence because of the past. Don't allow your past to dictate your future.
And I think for the brothers out there who have not approached women, I think that's where you have to get your biblical, your affirmations in place.
Right.
You are made in God's image and God's likeness. Mm-hmm. You were fearfully and wonderfully made. You are bold as a lion.
That's good.
And see, what you do is, that's what I did. Mm-hmm. Once I reinforced who I am in Christ Jesus.
Right.
Now I have that boldness because I know who I am. But if you don't know who you are, you will shrink back. No. Mm-hmm. You have favor in your life.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I wanted to ask this question. I want you to leave a comment in the comment section answering this question for us. How can a woman show that they are interested in a man without being considered aggressive? What is your thoughts? We want to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, love, laugh, and learn.